Arthur, does it help to have someone to talk to?
The Harlequin of Hate, the Ace of Knaves, the Man Who Laughs, and the Jester of Genocide, the Joker. Hey guys, what's happening? Niyat here with Film Comics Explained, and today we'll be doing a breakdown of the Joker trailer that dropped last week, exploring some of the references in the trailer and some of the Easter eggs we spotted. Now, the film was originally supposed to be directed by Martin Scorsese, with Leonardo DiCaprio as the titular Joker, before the director's chair was passed on to the hands of Todd Phillips, known for his work on the Hangover trilogy, while the much sought after role of the Joker was picked up by the outstanding Joaquin Phoenix. Though Scorsese, who contributed a great deal to the development of the script, had pulled out as director, he was still involved in the film as executive producer, with the new Joker movie taking several cues from his 70s, 80s filmography, including films like Raging Bull, Taxi Driver, and especially The King of Comedy. The film looks as though it would also be taking elements from Batman the Killing Joke, some of the visual aesthetics of Batman Year One, along with a whole heap of other storylines. First and foremost, this movie is going to focus on the origin story of the Joker, with no hint of Batman in sight, though we do see what appears to be a young Bruce Wayne, but we'll get to that later. In this adaptation, we'll be following a man named Arthur Fleck, who looks after his sick mother Penny Fleck, whilst dealing with his own mental health issues. Through the progression of the film, we'll see him reach his breaking point, leading to his transformation into the Joker as a result of societal abuse, neglect, and indifference he's had to suffer over the course of his life, and one bad day where he's changed forever. This notion is also an idea discussed in Batman the Killing Joke, who the film's director and co-writer Todd Phillips has stated as being a major influence in the development of the film. At the start of the trailer, we see Arthur speaking to a social worker named Deborah Kane, a reference to Bob Kane, who, along with Bill Finger, was one of the creators of Batman. At the same time, Deborah Kane is also a character created by Bob Kane, featured in the Batman The Ultimate Evil story arc as a social worker that works with Bruce Wayne to rid the streets of those that prey on the young. Now, in the trailer, she asks Arthur if it helped to have someone to talk to, which Arthur replies to by feigning a grin, taking the advice of his mother, who tells him to put on a happy face and who would explain to him that his purpose in life was to bring laughter and joy to the world around him. Arthur's relationship to his mother will feature some heartfelt moments and will be important in delineating the clear differences between what Fleck used to be as a compassionate, optimistic, and good human being to the indifferent, pessimistic, and sadistic Joker he would become. We then see Arthur scribbling into a journal where he's attempting to write some jokes that gives us some insight into his sense of humor and, more importantly, his state of mind, with jokes like, why are people so confused? Because they don't have any sense. But perhaps the most revealing thing written down is his note about the worst thing about having a mental illness being that people expect you to behave as if you don't. A clear reflection on how the world viewed Arthur Fleck, and more importantly, on how he viewed the world around him. His apartment bears a striking resemblance to Travis Bickle's apartment in Taxi Driver, as well as the apartment of Jake LaMotta in Raging Bull, both of which are characters portrayed by Robert De Niro in his prime, who also stars in the Joker film as a talk show host named Murray Franklin, in an on-the-nose reference to yet another Scorsese film, The King of Comedy, where De Niro himself played an aspiring stand-up comedian whose only shortfall was that he was crazy. Yes, that's right. Let that sink in. That's like a Scorsese within a Scorsese within a Scorsese. It looks as though the Joker gets invited to speak on Murray Franklin's show as a guest in what I assume must be after his transformation, and quite possibly after he'd begun making a name for himself as a mischievous man who laughs. While this is definitely a reference to the King of Comedy, this also comes out of The Dark Knight Returns, where a seemingly rehabilitated Joker appears as a guest on the David Endocrine show, prior to killing the entire audience and its host.
Breathe, David. Breathe.
The streets of Gotham are also visibly filthy, with many shots containing mountains of garbage bags, a reference to the 1968 garbage strike of New York City, where sanitation workers had demanded better pay and conditions and essentially didn't return to work until their voices were heard. This, I think, is being used to highlight the inequality in Gotham City, where people like the Wayne family, who, judging by this footage, don't appear to have any trash problems, and who live unaffected by the hardships of the everyday man. This gritty and derelict depiction of Gotham City also appears to draw inspiration from Frank Miller and David Mazzucchelli's epic, Batman Year One. We also see the influence of Martin Scorsese's Taxi Driver, with this look of Arthur dressed as a clown, working on a seedy street where a strip club, hotel, and typewriter shop are within a few feet of each other. In this scene, we see Fleck getting attacked by a gang of youths, taking point from the sense of brutality and injustice seen in the Batman Year One story arc, as well as Scorsese's classic. Arthur Fleck's frustration with the world and the instability this created in his mind is fantastically encapsulated with the physical transformation Joaquin Phoenix undergoes, who looks as though he's straight up Christian Bailing the shit, seen distorting his body as a physical representation of his mind stretching until one bad day where he'll undoubtedly reach breaking point. I think this bad day will feature a number of elements, including the death of his mother Penny, who appears to be the only thing that gives him joy, and possibly even the character Sophie, portrayed by Zazie Beetz, who appears to be the Joker's love interest and a cynical single mother who may, like his mother, come to shape his outlook on life. It's also important to note that the tragic passing of the Joker's girlfriend is one of the major catalysts of his transformation in Batman the Killing Joke. We see a shot of Arthur entering Arkham Hospital, a large prison-like structure with bars on every window, which looks as though it's taking the place of Arkham Asylum in the comics. And we also see the Joker's laugh begin to make an appearance at a comedy club where Arthur is laughing at someone's jokes before seemingly getting up on stage himself and bombing, another facet of the Killing Joke. This in turn is followed shortly by him getting ready for work as a clown, forcing a smile while a tear can be seen streaking down his face. Another powerful image that shows the struggle between his desire to make people laugh and the inner turmoil that continues to unravel within him. This is further supported with the song Smile, written by Charlie Chaplin for his film Modern Times. Now, the song serves as the underlying theme of that film and has since been performed by numerous artists over the years. We also get a reference to Modern Times in one of the shots, with Arthur being thrown out of a screening of that very same film. We get a shot of Thomas Wayne on the television, who is rumoured to be the antagonist of the film, or at least in the mind of the Joker, with the trailer suggesting that Arthur will be seeking retribution from Thomas Wayne, a philanthropist running for mayor, who Arthur may blame for some of the city's problems and the ones that made his life a living hell. On a side note, Tim Burton's 1989 Batman was the first instance where I believe the notion that the Joker had killed the Waynes when he was a criminal named Jack Napier was first introduced, suggesting that the Joker was responsible for the creation of Batman, in stark contrast to Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight, where the existence of Batman and his actions led to the creation of the Joker as his polar opposite. And since the trailer features a young Bruce Wayne being approached by Arthur Fleck, it's possible that he may be responsible for the death of his parents, and in turn responsible for the creation of Batman. Arthur Fleck's clown makeup before and after his transformation also bears a striking resemblance to the red, white and blue Pagliaccio mask worn by Heath Ledger's Joker in the opening scene to The Dark Knight. The makeup is also a nod to the debut appearance of Cesar Romero's Joker in the 1960s TV series, as well as a reference to the character of Pagliaccio from the Italian opera of the same name, which translates to clowns. The opera itself blurs the line between comedy and tragedy, which also appears to be one of the major themes of the new Joker movie.
I used to think that my life was a tragedy, but now I realize it's a comedy.
The trailer features some clever use of visual language to give us a sense of Arthur's state of mind, with a shot of him climbing up towards the light with great difficulty, with the weight of the world pressing down on the poor guy, and his figure getting smaller as he gets further and further up towards his home, in contrast to his graceful flourish of frenetic energy and enthusiasm as he descends down towards the road of perpetual madness. The irony is that heroes are supposed to rise while villains descend, and though we see the Joker heading the wrong way while sporting a maniacal grin, the use of light and the liberated exuberance of his movement makes it feel as though what we're seeing is nothing short of perfection. Damn, this trailer looks really good. I was never skeptical about whether or not the Joker origin movie could work, especially considering he's one of the most, if not the most, interesting character in all of the DC universe. But my concern was always that the Joker works best when he's not understood, and when his backstory remained a mysterious multiple choice. Creating a movie where the antagonist is the protagonist also seems counterintuitive and a bloody challenge, but Joker looks as though it will be exploring a genuine origin for the man who laughs by portraying a sympathetic, everyday man that we can relate to before he loses everything and becomes an unrelenting force of chaos.
To your fear and sorrow, smile, and maybe tomorrow you'll find that life is still worthwhile.
Well, that's all for today, folks. Big thanks to all of you guys who requested a breakdown and analysis of the Joker trailer. I'm curious to hear what you guys thought about the trailer and if there were any references that I missed, so please share these in the comments below. Don't forget to hit subscribe and click the notification icon to stay up to date on all my content, and if there's anything else you'd like to request, please don't hesitate to ask. As always, it's been a pleasure. Niyat here with Film and Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.
Listen to me. He's been in custody for 2 years. If we can prove what we found today...
He'll confess.
He's insane. It's a mistake to think you know what he'll do.
Hello. I want to talk. Perhaps you'll kill me. Perhaps I'll kill you. Perhaps sooner, perhaps later. You know that, don't you?